Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to a very exciting Friday episode of Esports News. We hope you guys all enjoy a lot of great stories in today's episode. They will all be timestamped down below. And also, a quick reminder to all of you new viewers out there, we are giving away a brand new pair of HyperX Cloud Alphas. The giveaway will be linked down below as well as on our Twitter. But as always, we hope you guys all enjoy. And let's get into it. And first off, in huge CSGO news out there, guys, some breaking information thanks to a Brazilian reporter out there. I will link his Twitter down below, but apparently it's actually loose translation, but we do have a new reported amount for the buyout amount of Coldzera. Obviously, Coldzera currently on the MIBR roster until maybe after the major. Speculation and rumors pointing towards he might be looking for a new team in 2019. This interview kind of further confirms that if a team does want to pick him up, apparently a record buyout has been set, and it will be, accordingly to this interviewer, $2 million. Now, we've seen in the past many record-breaking buyouts out there. We had Nico's, we had Guardians, we had, I guess, allegedly what Simple and Flamey, their buyouts were going to be over $1 million each, which was way too overpriced. So if you thought that was overpriced for Simple, then this is by far and away overpriced for Coldzera, but it does make a lot of sense. Of course, a company, an organization like MIBR, they want their money's worth. If a player like Coldzera does want to leave, the team will have to pay an extensive amount of money for it. As of right now, it's very loose translation, but it does seem like Coldzera's new buyout amount is $2 million. Now, also bouncing off that, we have now finalized all of our teams going forward for the Face It Major happening in September, just over a month from today. So it's going to be very cool to see which teams will actually show up the best at the event, but it will be Cloud9, the last team to actually finalize their team. And as of right now, going forward, it will be Sticko until the end of September, but it seems like Golden will take a more permanent role on that team. As announced by Cloud9 this morning, they have officially signed Golden and Sticko only until the end of September, but it does seem going forward, Golden will be the future IGL of this roster, so best of luck to them. The only question now is, of course, with the suspicious Face It rule change, which team out there, because Cloud9 did not even abuse the rule. As of right now, for all I know, it's only been 2 teams out there, North acquiring their new member, that of course being Nico from Heroic, and then we of course had Virtus Pro acquire Snatchy from AGO. Those are the only 2 teams we know of as of right now who've actually taken advantage of the new Face It rule. So the question still lingers, did one of those teams actually convince Face It to change the rule, or did they just change it randomly and not make it very public? And also this past week, guys, in some, I guess, not necessarily breaking CSGO news, we actually had the CSGO kill record set on the aimbot server. I'll link the server down below for all of you. One of the most well-known kill servers on CSGO. It's been set at 69,420 kills, and thanks to all of you guys and your response on Twitter, I will be dedicating my entire weekend to try and break that record, and I'll let you guys know how that goes after about 15 to 20 hours of gameplay. Hopefully, I'll be approaching that 69,000 number and hopefully breaking that record sometime soon. But to close it out as well, for all of you guys who are, I guess, constantly waiting the Face It Major sticker drop, apparently, according to Infonorse out there, we should expect Face It Major stickers to drop probably next week with that update. I very highly doubt that Face It or Valve are going to make us wait another 2 weeks, so it should be early next week, guys, that Face It stickers are released, and I'm crossing my fingers they are a cool design. But also, very lastly as well, in some Asian news out there, we do have Flash, that roster officially leaving Vici Gaming. Now, if you guys remember, it was actually a couple months ago, the allegations around Fierce Tiger, the Chinese super team, and now we have another one of the best Chinese rosters who, of course, will not be at the major anyway. Unfortunately enough, it will be Tyloo, pretty much the only Asian team out there, unless you count Renegades as confusing anyway. But going forward, it will be Flash leaving the Vici Gaming roster. So that team, and of course that scene right now, is struggling to actually have a come up, and this definitely does not help them in the future. Hopefully going to find a new organization in the future as well, and hopefully find some results to maybe make it back to a major as they did last year based off kind of a fluke. Now, on top of that, very lastly as well, we do have some breaking news, as we do have here in the Midwest, in the US as well. We've never really seen any CSGO events. The first has officially been announced, and that will be IEM Chicago. So of course I finally leave the Midwest and come out here to the West Coast, and unfortunately enough, it will be now the first announcement of a CSGO event will be at IEM Chicago for the next 3 years. Going to be cool to see which events, I guess maybe spring up according to this as well, otherwise in the Midwest, but hopefully it does go well. But that's it for CSGO news. And also in big Dota 2 news out there, we had Admiral Bulldog take the Twitter this morning with a huge twitlonger. I'll link it down below for all of you. He actually does clarify he will not be attending TI8. Very unfortunately enough, all of us wanted to see him on that talent pool, but it does seem he will be hopefully going to future events, maybe on the Dota Pro circuit if he is invited. But unfortunately enough, he does make sure to clarify he made a tiny mistake. He doesn't go into what that tiny mistake was in his past. It never had any issue on his travel over the past 6 years, but accordingly now, all of a sudden, it's actually forbidding him to actually travel to Canada for the event. So unfortunately, unfortunately enough, he will not be there for TI8, guys, but hopefully in the future, he will be attending future events. Now, speaking of DPC, the Dota Pro Circuit, we actually had Slacks on the official Dota YouTube channel. I will link this down below because it's a great series for all you avid Dota 2 players out there who are actually wanting a little bit of a recap over, of course, the teams who are going to be attending the TI8. Slacks has been posting some great videos over there and will for the next few days be posting recaps, not only to the Dota Pro Circuit, they've already done that video, as well as all the teams in attendance for the next international next week as well. So if you guys want a great week recap, go link that will be down below. If you guys want to check out some recaps of all the teams who will be in attendance for the big international, which does start officially next week. And we had tons of Fortnite news and also League of Legends news. These next two segments are going to be a bit long, but first off, of course, we have the Skirmish Series Week 5 continue for Fortnite. And again, I always say this, I think every episode, the amazing response by Epic so far, which could be in question. Is it a good thing to actually respond to your community? Is it a bad thing? They continue to do it, though. And in this case, I think it's a good thing. Actually, of course, over the past 4 weeks of Skirmish Series, a lot of complaints about, of course, camping and kind of boring gameplay to watch because it wasn't too kill intensive, because these players weren't incentivized to actually go out and get kills. A lot of the points were actually based around victory royales. And this week, in response to that, Epic has given us a game mode only dependent on eliminations. It's going to be very cool to see. The new breakdown will be, apparently teams will acquire points only on eliminations, but there will be a bonus system. So one elimination will actually mean 1 point, but on top of that, a victory royale flush does mean for your next match, you'll get a bonus elimination of 3 times. So that means a kill will be worth 3 points. And again, if you actually do get a 7+ elimination game, your next game, that bonus elimination will be 2 times. Now, we're not sure if you get a victory royale as well as a 7+ elimination game, if those are combined or they're multiplied, will it be a 6 times or a 5 times for your next game? But it's going to be a very kill intensive series, guys. So going to be hopefully some new favorites out there, maybe Tfue, maybe other FaZe members, maybe some different players you'll see who are no longer camping and going for kills. It should be a great weekend event. I cannot wait to watch, and it's going to be very kill intensive. But also on top of it as well, we did have a dramatic entrance into Fortnite for CLG. Kind of questionable. I guess we see a lot of teams out there, not going to judge them because there's so much easy money in Fortnite right now. This kind of proves it. We have CLG who left their CSGO roster back late 2017. They then left their Rocket League roster earlier this year as well, and now they've actually announced, of course, there being easy money in the scene, a brand new kind of really dramatic trailer for their CLG team, which will be in Fortnite. So only a few rosters remaining in the CLG organization, one being their League of Legends team, now of course their brand new Fortnite team, and thanks to Rocket Jump, who did an amazing trailer and cinematic you guys have been watching as well for that entire entrance. So best of luck to CLG in the future. We'll see if this roster can actually stay intact. Now, also very lastly for Fortnite news as well, we had a mid-patch update for all the complaints. Even further response from Epic about the current SMG meta. We've seen slight nerfs, and I mean very, very slight nerfs for the P90. I think damage was reduced by 1 for both those Epic and Legendary models, and also kind of a bigger nerf though, a little bit of a damage nerf as well as a range fall off nerf as well for the drum gun. That's where the major nerfs are, but again, a mid-patch update in response to the SMG meta. Epic continues to actually update these SMGs. Is it enough though? Because we also saw a slight buff to mats. So mats have not been reverted to their original form, especially for wood. Wood still seemingly is going to be pretty weak going forward, but Epic is trying their best to find a common ground, which I do appreciate. But that's it for Fortnite news. And then huge League of Legends news out there, like I said, and of course you guys probably saw in the title and the thumbnail, we have 2 big returns this past weekend, and again coming up for this next weekend of LCS matches as well, and as well as LCK. The first of which though, most importantly, Rekkles was officially announced back in the starting lineup, but not for who you might think. I think it's commonly agreed that Whippo probably earned his spot in the bot lane. On top of that though, will be Rekkles back in the lineup for the top lane SOAS. I really feel bad for the guy. He's been picked on throughout the entire split. In my own opinion, I think probably community opinion out there as well, he had a pretty good split in that top lane. Unfortunately enough, he is now being picked on yet again, and Rekkles will return to the starting Fnatic roster for that top lane. Of course, our latest patch 8.15 kind of slightly buffing ADC, so Rekkles has apparently worked on his champ pool, and so we'll see if that actually comes into effect this weekend for Fnatic. And also on top of that, Fnatic of course have almost solidified their playoff spot, so pretty much a great time to bring Rekkles back and maybe test some things out. But it does seem to be a pretty permanent move. They made a video all about it, so I'm making this announcement. So it does seem Rekkles is going to be back permanently, and I would not be surprised at all to see SOAS leave to some other team after this split, and of course playoffs do go on. But also on top of that, very anticlimactic for SKT. SKT, if you guys have been watching their unfortunate LCK demise, because they had a slight win streak. They won 5 of their last 6 2 weeks ago, and unfortunately enough, they've lost quite a few these past 2 weeks. Unfortunately, they actually brought back Faker. I say unfortunately enough because it was only for 1 match against Kingzone. It was I guess a semi-close match. Unfortunately ended a loss for SKT, and once Faker was back, he has now been sent right back to the bench, and it was the next match as well. Pyrian, of course, his replacement in the first place, was actually brought back into the jungle, and he goes 0-9 Orianna. So a very anticlimactic finish. Of course, a lot of uproar about this. They have not used Faker much this split at all. We're not really sure if that was, of course, the team decision or Faker's decision. Again, like I said previously with Rekkles, I would not be surprised to hopefully see this guy traded away. I think most people want to see him play, and it seems SKT's future is definitely dim for Worlds, but of course, they actually do have a chance to make Worlds still throughout the regional qualifiers, although it will take a very, very, I guess, miraculous dream run at qualifiers. I hope to see them there. Hopefully, Faker will make his way back into the starting roster permanently, as he did have an average game. He looked pretty good, actually, and then fortunately enough, Pyrian comes back in and goes 0-9. It does make people question why they're not using Faker more often. And very lastly as well, for some roster change news out there, it's the assistant coach for Misfits. That's actually Jez is subbing in now for Mikex, and he'll be probably permanently going to be joining that Misfits roster going forward. It does seem they want more stability according to their post and their for their roster, and it will be their assistant coach stepping in what does seem to be a permanent role going forward, and hopefully it does work out for them in the future. It's not because they're playing H2K this weekend, it's because they want more stability in the future, so we'll see how that goes. And again, some huge roster changes coming before playoffs, and hopefully going to be some more soon as well, and we'll hopefully have those by next week. So big things coming for LCS matches this week. Watch out. Cloud9, I'm watching for you. And also some small Overwatch news out there. I will cover all the patch notes come Monday when we see what they actually come into effect for the game itself. As of right now, these patch notes, especially the past few patch notes, have not been meta changing besides Hammond coming into the game itself. Some very, very small nerfs and balances and buffs coming into the game so far, and I'll hopefully cover those Monday as we see them progress into the game itself. On top of that, though, we did have some bigger news out there. A sneak peek at the Summer Game skins. As of right now, it does seem Reinhardt's new kit, new rework skins do seem to be doing fairly well, and also I love how Overwatch and Blizzard do these videos. Of course, their sneak peeks on Twitter. So these skins for Summer Games apparently doing pretty well so far, and community feedback so far does point in a positive direction. But also very lastly, speaking of the Overwatch Grand Finals, Overwatch League, we're in that kind of lull period like I talked about for roster changes out there, but viewership numbers did come in for the short 7-map series. If you guys did watch the Grand Finals over there, it could have gone so much longer, and hopefully next Grand Finals will be a bit closer. But even though it was only 7 maps across those two series, it was actually great viewership numbers. Broke 10 million concurrent viewers. That's across all platforms, including Twitch, ESPN, Disney, but still, for only a 7-map series, it could have been even so much more. So looking forward, guys, viewership numbers are definitely looking very good. Although if you look at the Twitch peak numbers, it's definitely not the same as when the Overwatch League did start, but still, it does show kind of a slow and progressive growth, and the Chinese viewership has been insane. So it'd be very cool to see in the future how this actually does pick up, and we can definitely compare this to next season to really compare the growth and the future of Overwatch League. And also, very last in esports news, guys, we saw some amazing qualifiers. If you guys have been tracking Universal Season 2, we're trying to finalize our 8 teams. As of this weekend, we actually finalized all 4 of our European teams. I love the layout. I know it's definitely because of a time crunch. They have to qualify all 4 European teams all together. As compared to American teams, it's actually done by region. But it was very cool to see the competitive nature of this, and definitely some upsets, guys. We have now finalized all 4 of our European teams. We have no names. Class on Grass. We have Team Girls, which is actually Reezy and Scrub. And very lastly, it was actually Complexity squeezing out by Fnatic, and it was an amazing series. If I can give you guys one video out there to actually summarize this weekend of Rocket League, which was very fun to watch, it'll be this video right here.
Come on, now Maestro.
One-on-one.
He's got Metzonaris over the top. He can't get there.
Let's go.
Let's go to game 5.
Let's go. What a shot for Maestro here. He's got, again, all the space to work with you could ever want out of the midfield, and Metza tries to shadow him, but that touch, the 1-2 tap, had some real power behind it, but it's onset.
We couldn't have it any other way. We need the wide shot for this one, because I think we all have to join in on this one. Ready? 3, 2, 1. It's game 5, baby! Let's get into it. Here.
And there were some definite upsets at the event. Like I said, Complexity just barely squeezed by. It was actually Maestro and Snasky hanging on for dear life. Snasky actually had a power outage at his house. It went to game 5 like that clip just said, and it was very, very cool. Game 5 overtime to see. Unfortunately enough, though, just not enough for that Fnatic lineup, as well as all the Dignitas players and former players over there. It was actually both Dignitas' roster and Dignacats not making it through, which I consider to be somewhat of an upset there. Definitely would have loved to see some of them in the future, especially because of their their previous results in June and July, teams that were coming off some very big wins over there. So some definite upsets there, but still some great teams going through. And also very lastly, guys, we will have the the American West regional qualifier going on as well, and that will finalize our last US West team, our last team to actually go to Season 2 Universal. That'll be this weekend, and we'll finally have all 8 of our teams finalized. I cannot wait to see it this weekend, and again, I cannot wait to watch this Universal as well. Some great competition coming soon, some great upsets as well when it comes to 2v2s, but hopefully more stuff coming in the future. But I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode of Esports News. If you guys did, leave a like or a comment down below. What did we miss? What can we do more in the future? And also make sure to enter our giveaway for this brand new pair of HyperX Cloud Alphas. A great giveaway, free for you guys to enter. I hope you guys all enjoy. I will see you, of course, back here Monday as we have a crazy weekend of esports going on. I will see you all then. As always, see you guys.